Hi everyone, we are live here to do the live watch along of the match between Taylor Fritz and Alexander Vukic. We are in the semi-final in Eastbourne, and we already knew who's waiting the winner of this match in the final, and it's Purcell who beat Billy Harris 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 in the first semi-final earlier today. It's been a pretty long day in Eastbourne so far, because every match has really gone to the distance. Also on the female side with the WTA 500 tournament, which is going on also this week, in the week that precede Wimbledon. And yeah, here the match between Fritz and Vukic has already started. Actually, there have already been 2 games and simply 2 holds, so it's a 1-game-all situation, and Fritz has now one chance to win the 3rd game of the match, 40-30. And he does it with a very good serve, 2-1. Fritz has a great record actually in Eastbourne, because he has already won the tournament twice, in 2019 and in 2022, which has probably been his best season so far on tour, because he's also won the Indian Wells Master that year. But yeah, actually Fritz has been a very consistent player. Lately won quite a few titles already. He's won this year, for example, in Derry Beach. And yeah, he's definitely the favorite, ranking wise, also to win this tournament for a 3rd time. It would be the first time a player wins this tournament 3 times on the men's side. They actually have already played each other, and it was a final. It was a final in Atlanta last year in 2023, and it was a very, very, very competitive match, a 3-set battle. Fritz won that one, 7-5, 6-7, 6-4. So it was a very hard-fought match, and yeah, can also be actually this one, because Vukic has been playing very, very well lately. Semi-final here. He played well also in Sertogenbosch when he beat Kachanov, and he reached the quarterfinal when he fell short against Talon Grigspur. And actually, I won't be alone on the stream, because Tom is going to join us in very, very few minutes. And yeah, it's of course an important week. This one, as all the weeks on the grass season, because we only have 3 weeks on the main tour before heading into Wimbledon. We've seen some players doing well, others a bit less. Today we have Tom. Hi.
Hello. I'm good, mate. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear okay.
Yeah, just I'm not sure this microphone has been playing, as we say in Scotland, silly buggers recently. So yeah, glad you can hear me. Good to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, actually. It's been actually a pretty tough start of the week for me, but
in what way? In what way? Everything okay? Just tired, or because I know you were away covering an event last week, weren't you?
A few things happened at home, but it's
all right.
Fine. Everything is going to be okay soon, and right now we just have to enjoy the tennis. What are you expecting from this one?
Well, I think clearly, obviously, Taylor Fritz is the favourite for this one. Playing pretty well on the grass recently. I know he had that kind of shock defeat to Jordan Thompson last week. Seems to be enjoying playing the Aussies. I think Jordan Thompson last week, Vukic today, could face Max Purcell in the final, and then I think he's got Christian O'Connell in the first round of Wimbledon. So Taylor Fritz likes an Aussie. But yeah, I'm just expecting a pretty tight match, to be fair. Yeah, but I think Fritz will maybe sneak it in 3. What about you?
I'm actually probably leaning towards a close 2 sets. Of course, I'm expecting the sets to be very close because, it just is this way on the grass, especially when you have 2 players like these, with this, with these game features. So I'm for sure expecting a close match. Probably I'm expecting Fritz to be kind of locked in the important moments and try to do his best to avoid this match to go to the distance. But yeah, of course, any outcome won't really be surprising, especially if it's Fritz win, even if it is a 3-set win. Very, very tight one won't be surprising. Probably a bit surprising if Vukic is going to win this one, but not really shocking. They played, I was mentioning before, they played a very close one in the final last year in Atlanta, and Fritz won in the 3rd set. So for sure, I think it's going to be very close. And as a lot of matches on the grass, it's mostly going to be about who's going to play better and stay focused the most in the most important moments and the crucial points of the match.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think everything you say there, Mario, is pretty much spot on. Like, I think it's a hard one to tell because I do think they've got similar game styles. On the grass is sometimes a leveler as well. So I think Taylor Fritz, but I think Vukic has got something about him to get here. But as I say, these grass court matches can sometimes be a leveler in terms of quality. What are you chuckling at there, Mario?
Yeah, we've seen on the screen. There's kind of been an invasion of, I think they were seagulls on the court, and the players were quite scared.
Well, my next question was going to be to you is, where are you on your stream? Because often we're maybe ahead or behind. So I'm just wondering. I'm using a stream from the BBC iPlayer, but I might be. Oh, there we go. I'm only now at the Seagull, but so there we go, because I hadn't seen that.
Okay, here I'm seeing those the seagulls again on replay. I don't know if you are seeing that.
Yeah, I've got that. I just got it. So I'm probably about a minute behind you. So I'm going to go and try and.
Vukic is serving.
Right, I'll try and jump stream.
No, it's fine. I was just. So in my stream, Vukic now is serving second serve. Okay,
nice one. So I think I'll be able to get a decent stream that I'm up to date with you. I just have to go through other means. But anyway, tell me while we do this. Tell me about what's been happening. Okay, so are you needing me to share my? Are you needing me to share my score for whatever reason? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably,
because I know you've got it on. I know you've got it, so I'll need to try and get one. Don't worry, I can do that. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Mario. We haven't spoken in a while, but the Wimbledon draw was today, and I just wondered, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, if we start with the men's side, and then we'll jump on to the ladies.
There are some interesting things for sure. For example, of course, here in Italy, a lot of people are, for example, looking at the Sinner's draw, and there's a potential round to clash against Berrettini, which of course can be very interesting especially for us Italian, but I think pretty much for everybody, because of course Sinner is the world number 1, and he's won so many matches lately and so many tournaments, and Berrettini is of course a very, very dangerous player on the grass. For sure, I think that one thing important that everybody was looking at was, where the 3rd seed Alcaraz was going to land in the draw, and we have Yannick and Carlos on the same side, just as it happened at the French Open, with Novak and Zverev, of course, on the bottom side of the draw. And I mean, it's difficult for sure. It's, you know, there are some quarters which I think are a little bit more stuck. Probably the first one with Sinner is a pretty good one, because I think that there are a couple also of very dangerous unseeded players like Berrettini and Struff. And the third quarter, maybe the one with Zverev and Rublev. Zverev historically never did very well at Wimbledon, so probably can be kind of an open one, or maybe Zverev himself can, you know, get a chance this year. It would be interesting to watch. While I think probably, you know, I still haven't really done, for example, my bracket, so I still haven't deeply studied the draw, but probably, you know, Djokovic first 2 rounds should be fine for him, so he should be able to also to test his knee, for example, try to, you know, to play his form into the draw, because his first couple of rounds are not, you know, he went pretty well. We have to be honest with those couple of rounds. His draw maybe gets more difficult as the tournament goes on, because in his quarters there are Deminor, Urkac, that can be 2 kind of dangerous players on at Wimbledon this year. And yeah, probably Alcaraz also, more or less the same situation as Djokovic. Let's just see. But probably this time I would say that probably Sinner's quarter is a little bit more interesting, if I have to say my opinion, because there are some potential round 2, round 3 clashes which are very, very interesting. So
do you think it's the perfect draw for Novak, you know, in terms of the injury coming back? You know, I think playing a qualifier, is it, in the first round? So do you think it's just the ideal kind of start for him?
Well, yes, for sure. You know, of course, every match has its own difficulty, and you have to play, of course, your way in order to win. But you know, considering also the unseeded players, I think it's a nice draw, considering the first couple of the first 2 or 3 rounds, and he should be. Yeah, I think he should be able to play his form into the draw, and just try to improve match by match, expecting him to play his best tennis right from the start. But if he's able to just play at let's say good level, even if not excellent, he should be able to then improve as the tournament goes on, because I think that for the first couple of rounds he should be okay, you know, with the draw he got. That's my feeling.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And when I saw the draw, I thought, you know, Sinner must be absolutely, you know, cursing his luck. You know, as the first kind of Grand Slam where he's the world number 1. You know, you should be looking at, by theory, you know, a much simpler draw, and somehow he hasn't managed to get that, as you alluded to earlier on. Berrettini, potentially Medvedev or Dimitrov, Alcaraz's side of the draw as well. So yeah, I think it has been very kind to him. Now there's all this over in the UK. There's all this, maybe not as much in Italy. I don't know. You tell me. But there's all this chat about Andy Murray. Will he? Won't he? It's the talk of the tennis town in the UK. He, you know, a tough draw against Thomas Mahak, and I just wondered, do you see in any scenario where Andy Murray plays and then B, he actually gets through that one?
It's going to be very, very difficult, I think, actually. As for what, you know, all the news have been, it's it's very difficult to imagine. I've just understood throughout the years that if there's a player who can redefine, even maybe science in terms of how can you, recover from injuries and be back on the court regardless of what the results are, and probably Murray is one of these players. And so there's still a part of me that would, of course, love to see him playing, and who's really hoping that his recovery gets in the right way. Right now it's Friday. The tournament starts on Tuesday for him because he's in the bottom half. And so I really don't know. To see him getting a win, it's actually probably too difficult, probably. But I don't know. I know that he's very, very competitive. He's actually one of the most competitive guys I've ever seen. But still, I think that this time probably just be able to get his way into the draw at Wimbledon, the singles draw one last time before hanging it up and retiring. I think that it's way more important for him than probably the real result, even because if we are really honest, we are not talking anymore about a contender, talking about the title, or and even making the second week actually right now is very, very difficult to imagine. So I think that getting or not getting a win for sure can be very different for him, but it's not the main point anymore. And I'm sure that when you do this much for the sport, especially if it's your own home slam, let's say like this, you have all the right to really decide until the last minute. There, if it's not able to play, there's going to be a lucky loser in the draw, and that's fine for everybody. So I just hope he gets to play. I don't want to give any prediction because it's not really my subject. Dealing with this kind of injuries, or understanding really medical reports and things, I don't really want to investigate through that.
Sure.
So just waiting for his response and hoping it's a positive one, because it's his story in recent years, it's already sad enough, and I think he should be deserving the chance to play this tournament one last time, because
I just wonder. I don't know if he's going to make it, if I'm being honest. Just in terms of, I think he's maybe just been, traditional Andy, stubborn. He just doesn't want to let this chance go. I've just got a feeling he maybe, late on Sunday we're going to hear something about him not making it, but I hope I'm wrong. And you never know. I know he's been quoted as saying, he wants to play this in the Olympics, and then he says, and then that'll probably be it. But I just get a feeling if he doesn't, he might just hang on in there, just at least for because he does need that send up. I suppose I was thinking about this the other day, Mario, in terms of, we all want the perfect send off, we all want the perfect ending, but in tennis it rarely happens that way, does it? We saw in terms of Nadal at the French, an early defeat, obviously, to Zverev in straight sets. You're never going to get that dream kind of walking away with the trophy and saying, okay, that's me, I've done it. As you say, Andy Murray's not really a contender anymore. So, what would be the perfect send-off? Would it be for him to make it and get a humbling in the first round, in terms of, a humbling defeat? Would that kind of, ruin the exit? So it's a hard one. I know that he's not got long left, but it's it's going to be funny. But again, how often in tennis or any walk of life, maybe in football when players retire and they know they're coming to the end of the season, they sometimes get a big send off if their game's at home. But that's very rare, and I just question, what is this perfect send off that we're all kind of hoping for? Federer didn't get it at Wimbledon. He maybe got it the Laver Cup, but still, I just think, just call it when you can't compete anymore. Just call it, and you're still going to be loved. You're still going to have that legacy. You're still going to have those trophies and those adoring fans. But yeah, I just wonder. I've just got a fear that on Sunday night we'll hear something like Andy Murray hasn't made Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's for sure, because at least, if you really, it's also in human nature, if you really love what you do and don't have, other plans for the future, not that you don't have other plans for the future, but they're not as important as the tennis career for you. If you're still able to win trophies and to, you don't really want to retire. You feel like there's no point in retiring, unless, I don't know, you have, for example, it happened, I don't know, on the women's side, it happened with Flavia Pennetta. She wins the US Open. She decides that that it's time for her to call it a day on her career. But there are different reasons than that jumping in that decision. If there aren't these reasons, and then it becomes difficult to just decide to retire, with winning trophies. Usually you tend to make this decision when you start feeling that it's not really your thing anymore, in terms of how you physically compete and but as long as you're able to still be at a bigger stage and to be competitive for titles, and you would love, of course, to keep going. So that's why also it's rare to have that dream sent off, because especially in an individual sport, an individual sport that with such big competition like tennis, it's very, very, very difficult, actually. So yeah.
So you make some great points. I'm just going to jump in there because I managed to catch up with the tennis and the scoreboard, and Taylor Fritz has got a set point which Vukic has just saved. But I was thinking, this is like a 0-0. You can see on the scoreboard there it says 0-0. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't reflect in terms of it's leading with the set score rather than the game score in this one. I'll maybe try and find a better scoreboard, but I was thinking like a 0-0 board draw again. If you've seen, I don't know, France and the Netherlands in the Euros, or England, was it Slovenia or Slovakia? I can't remember which one, but this one has been pretty much that. There's been one break point other than that one that has just been saved, and it's pretty much just went with save, comfortable service games, not long rallies. Is there anything that's jumped out on you in this one so far, Mario? I don't want to underplay the spectacle, but it hasn't been a great watch.
Yeah, I mean,
the Seagulls were probably the highlight of the match.
Probably, yeah. I mean, not really many things happened, that's for sure. We've seen.
Although Taylor Fritz serving well, 7 aces, 0 double faults. He's serving well, which will, again, I've always argued with this with some guys on the the stream in the past, when I've said that Taylor Fritz is probably one of the most consistent and best servers. Maybe not in terms of power, but just in terms of technique and getting the ball into court. He does damage with that serve. And as I say, seven aces, 0 double faults right now. That'll go well in terms of long matches at Wimbledon. Do you think Taylor Fritz, I mean, I know that he's got to the quarterfinals, I think it was, against Nadal in the past. Do you think he can make any? I know he's got a kind of maybe mixed, is probably the kindest word I can say about his Grand Slam record. He sometimes plays well in the pre-tournaments and then gets to the main event and maybe doesn't show up. But do you think Taylor Fritz can do any damage here at Wimbledon? I don't even know what his draw is looking like. Have you got any idea?
Yeah, I'm just checking this, of course, actually, about his draw. But generally, I mean, he's in the third quarter of the draw. He faces O'Connell in the first round.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Then Nishikori or Rinderknecht. We are in the section with Tabilo, Draper, and Zverev. Okay. These are the seeds which will fight for a place in the quarterfinal. And actually, all of these seeds have done quite well. I mean, Zverev played in Halle, and in my opinion, it was a positive week for him. Tabilo is maybe not a specialist, but he's reached the final in Mallorca. So especially confidence-wise. For sure, it will be high. Draper, we know he had the very good grass season also. So, I mean, it feels like kind of a chance for everybody, probably this draw. At least talking about the best player. So I think that Fritz goes into this draw. His hopes. Last year, he didn't do really well at Wimbledon. Lost in the second round against Timmer, actually. A match he could have also probably won. It was a little bit of a missed opportunity for him, also the match itself. Lately he's been quite consistent in slams. He's made a couple of good runs, some quarterfinals at the US Open last year, at the Australian Open this year. So yeah, I would say that he has all what it takes to do well at Wimbledon. Then how far it becomes, of course, difficult to predict exactly, because of course it will also depend on what the other players will be like. But if I think, for example, on a match between him and Zverev, which is the biggest seed, he should, in his draw en route to the quarterfinal, in a match against Zverev, maybe grass is his a way better chance for him that if maybe this would have happened at the French Open, where Zverev is way more consistent, and maybe it's not also Fritz's best Grand Slam. There are other dangerous players, of course. If Draper makes it, we don't know. And there is Giron also in this section, which has been a pretty consistent player on the grass this year. So there are some obstacles, that's for sure. But yeah, again, I say that he has all what it takes, I think, to be able to do a good run. I think so. Then maybe it doesn't happen, but there's not a real reason why I should think like no way,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, the more names that you list there, the more excited I get about that section of the draw. It's quite a competitive section, and there's not really, I mean, one real favourite. I mean, Swana says that Draper is going to win that battle if they do meet in round 4.
Probably.
And I think Matthew, I think Mario, you kindly said to us a minute ago, is it not?
Yeah, for sure.
It's Rinderknecht, is it? Or
he faces, he has O'Connell in round 1. Round 2 is against either Nishikori or Rinderknecht. Round 3 potentially against, I would say, Tabilo. Tabilo is the seed. There are also Evans, Hijikata, Cobolli. Actually, any of them can be his round 3 opponent.
When is the potential Berrettini? Did you say the Berrettini one could be round 3?
No.
Sorry, that was Sinner. Never
yes, exactly. In round 2, actually. Yeah, and round 4 is Draper, Zverev, Giron. I don't know. But talking about the seed, Zverev should be his, let's say, biggest obstacle going, if he wants to go to a quarterfinal run. Let's say that there are a lot of interesting potential matches, because I don't think it's going to be easy for him if he plays Hijikata, or if he plays, but even someone like Tabilo or Draper or Zverev, of course, or even Giron, especially because it's best of 5. He's one of these players who maybe feels a bit more vulnerable in best of 5. Don't you think the same?
That's why I say I think it was being maybe kind when saying he's had a mixed record. I mean, I know he has reached quarterfinals, but he's always come into these events with usually comes in with maybe a title. I remember the French Open a couple of years ago after he'd won Indian Wells, and I think he went out very early there. Taylor Fritz, I do like his game. I mentioned it was almost commentator's curse as usual for me. I'd mentioned how well he was serving, and then he threw in a double fault, but he has remedied that with another ace. So let's see what happens. As you've predicted, this set very tight. This set against Vukic, not one of many chances. I was thinking was overselling it when I said that there was 2 break points. There's actually only been one, and that was the set point. So we're a couple of points away now. Vukic 15-all. We're a couple of points away from a predictable tie break. It'll all come down to who's got the nerve to kind of see this one. I was going to ask you, Mario, you said a couple of things there, but I want to ask you, because Wimbledon, obviously this year, with the Djokovic injury, it's probably one of the, and I know he went into the French with a dip in form, Djokovic, but we all kind of maybe had in the back of our mind that he was maybe going to, see it through and maybe turn up at the big event. This Wimbledon seems to me like the first one that I can remember for a long time where we're not looking at a big three and going, it's theirs for the winning. And I don't want to say it's wide open, because I mean, I don't know if that would be unfair to Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, but I just wondered, what's the feeling going into this Wimbledon, in terms of, is it a little bit more open than it usually is, like these Grand Slams? Is the potential of winners, is it opened up a little bit for you in terms of, have you got maybe 5 or 6 names as opposed to maybe 2 or 3 usually, if you get my question?
First of all, I wanted to do a shout out to Ghosty for his comment. I will for sure join you on the Greek guy to celebrate Tommy Paul's Wimbledon win.
I like
talking
Paul.
about.
I like Tommy Paul for it. If he can last it, I think it'll be good.
Thinking about how open this can be, I don't think it's really that open. Probably, I mean, in a way, yes, because probably the bottom half of the draw feels like this, feels like open. So in the end, you may, have probably a finalist, which was maybe not on your mind. But I still don't know. I think like I want to see some matches before saying it, because then again, one thing is to watch Djokovic, for example, rallying a little bit on the center court in a practice session or just a couple of clips, watching him then playing a real match, and it's different. So then maybe we see some matches and we can have a different perspective of, him. And at the beginning of the year, thinking about Djokovic also potentially getting old, I thought probably Wimbledon can be, his better chance. I'm thinking at the beginning of the year, because you feel like matches are maybe a bit less physically demanding, and right now his serve has really been improving, and so he can serve well. And we've seen also in the ATP finals last year how fast conditions can still help him a lot, even against the younger guys. But of course, it's not for him the ideal way to arrive to this Grand Slam with the injury. But yes, still, before I don't watch him play, I really struggle to give any judgment, because maybe I watch him play and he plays good because he feels good and his knee is okay. Fritz is, for example, one of these players who spoke about Djokovic injury, because apparently it's the same Fritz got in 2021. He got injured at the French Open and was ready to go at Wimbledon. And so Fritz himself said he's not surprised to see Djokovic making it and playing the tournament. So I just want to say a couple of matches probably before saying out loud, this feels like an open Grand Slam.
Fair enough.
Right now, I would say that I would still be surprised if we get a winner which is not currently in the top 3 of the ranking.
Fair enough. That's a fair answer you gave, Mario. A very in-depth and fair answer. I won't put you in the spot, but I might ask Matthew, Swarna and Ghost then. Now, I've only scanned over the draw because I was working today. But I wonder if there's anyone on, certainly in the men's side, is there where's the shock of the first round coming from then? I don't know, Mario, if you've got an opinion on this, but wanted to ask the guys, Matthew, Ghost and Swarna, any particular tie that you would see as a shock? Maybe not a shock anymore. I don't know. Again, I've not scanned the draw, but I just wondered if there's anyone that stands out. Where's the shock coming from in the first round? And as you guys do, I think
talking about some potential
upsets. Well, we call it a shock, but like an upset. Maybe a seed getting turned over.
We've talked about Sinner not having an easy draw, but still, for me, the idea of him losing early at Wimbledon seems really difficult. Actually, it seems like more he may drop a couple of sets, but not really, in my opinion. I would be really surprised if he doesn't manage to get deep at Wimbledon. I have to be honest. So,
any other match then? Any other matchup?
I can well imagine, for example, him dropping a set if he faces Berrettini in the second round. But even in a match against Gritzberg, but really losing it, probably a bit difficult. Just going through the draw. Let's say that probably, a seed which feels a bit vulnerable this grass season is Shelton, and he faces Bellucci, which is an Italian qualifier who has already won 3 matches straight on the grass in order to qualify. So probably this feels like an open section, even because the winner of that one that facing someone like Harris or Mikkelsen, which can be also dangerous players on fast surfaces. I have Shapo over Jari. I don't think it's a shock, actually, because Jari also has been unwell in this grass season, and so hasn't been able also to play any warm-up event. So for me, it wouldn't be shocking at all if he loses against Shapovalov.
Denis Shapovalov, yep. And Denis Shapovalov's not bad on grass. Like I remember him, he had a decent wee run. I think to the 4th a couple of years back. So yeah, he's all right on the grass. Just to go quickly to this match. As you might imagine, although Taylor Fritz did have a mini break, it was the only mini break of this tiebreaker after 8 points. Vukic has levelled that side of things, although he's serving a second set at 4-5 down, so a big point. Taylor Fritz gets the ball back at the court. It's a backhand battle at the moment, across court, ad to ad. They're just knocking it to each other. Nobody really making the move right now. It looked like Vukic was maybe going to go down the line, but it's Taylor who goes down the line. Taylor gets it back on the forehand. Strong forehand by Vukic. Taylor is on the defence. Vukic has still kept it in court. This is the longest rally. Vukic controlling it now. Taylor still with it. Has he got it back? Oh, what about rally? Rally the match so far.
Yeah.
And Vukic gets it into court. And well played, Alexander Vukic, to hold his composure. Taylor Fritz is not happy about something. What's going on? He's on his knees, begging the umpire.
Yeah, it was a good one. This for sure.
What's happened there? What's he complaining about?
Let me just try to understand. Oh, okay. I got it. He thinks, I think, that Vukic touched twice the ball to close the rally.
Okay, yeah.
He thinks there's been a double hit with Vukic racket on the last shot. And I mean, I still have to watch actually a good replay.
Here we go. We'll get a replay now.
That's what he's complaining about, asking also.
Oh, it was. And Vukic has absolutely denied it. Oh my God. I can't believe that. No sportsmanship there at all there. So yeah, Taylor Fritz did say, Alex, was that a clean hit? I heard him say that. And Vukic has just told him yes, and then the replay shows that he's hit it twice. That's shocking to me. I can't believe a player would just complete deny that when there's so many cameras about. So yeah, controversial. Don't know if you guys on the chat, Ghost, Swarna, or Matthew.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Doesn't seem fair.
Fritz is maybe with a bit of anger and spite in his mind has taken the next point that was on the Vukic serve and so he will have a serve for the first set, a first set of very few chances. But I wonder if there'll be any other chat about this at the end of this first set, because clear by the replay, it hits the bottom of Vukic's racket and then pops up to more or less his arm, and his forward momentum then hits it again back over the net.
I actually can't really believe why we so many things that we have actually, why can't we just see this again? You know, it's a matter of 10 seconds, but okay.
And he's just won the set well in with an ace. I don't think that'll improve his mood, because Vukic had actually challenged that serve ace. And he's continuing the chat despite winning the first set. Oh no, he's not won the first set. Sorry, it was maybe Vukic. I've got that wrong. I think it was Vukic with the set point. So, oh no, it was 5-0. My mistake.
No, it's that's it. There's been the challenge, and the challenge shows it's in. So
sorry, my scoreboard on the telly stream that I'm watching hasn't updated. In fact, I was right. Taylor Fritz has won the first set 7-6.
Yeah, and I'm trying to chat once again with the umpire. Of course, right now it's not important anymore score-wise, but still, you know.
Okay, I'm just going to pop on for 2 minutes, Mario. I know this is very unprofessional of me, but I just need to check on my 2-year-old, who I can hear in the next room just having a roll about. So I just want to check. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Can you wait just 5 seconds?
Yeah,
absolutely. I put the charger and then you can go, because I don't want my laptop to die suddenly.
No problem, mate. No problem. Okay, Ghost, elaborate for me, because I want to know. But in America, it's not fair. But an American getting cheated in England is nothing new. Now, without opening the proverbial can of worms, Ghost, please elaborate. I'd like to know. But yeah, Vukic, Matthew saying Vukic double hit in the breaker, but it was with one swing, so allowed. Fritz wasn't having it. Was it with one swing? I don't know. Come on, Matthew. And is that allowed? If it's just one swing, you can hit it with... What's your thoughts on this, Mario? Matthew's saying the Vukic double hit in the breaker. It was one swing, so it's allowed.
That's why I think we just can avoid all these discussions by having just the possibility of watching a replay, you know, for the umpires, because I mean, of course, live it's a very, very difficult decision to take, but if the umpire is just allowed to watch, you know, a slow motion just of the swing, the thing would be way clearer. From the replay I saw, I kind of had the same, you know, feeling as Taylor, but probably it's also like that, you know. In the end, I've only saw one of these replays, and I think that, you know, we should move on and let the umpires just check it in these cases, you know, let the players, I don't know, challenge.
Still mumbling something.
In the end, it happens kind of a couple of times per match, so it's not like a big waste of time. So
yeah, no, Fritz is definitely still disturbed by this, at least, and Vukic wins the first point of the second set with a serve and volley tactic. So I wonder if this is going to change it up a little bit. It might get a little bit more exciting. It might threaten to break into a tennis match. Okay, I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. I'll just jump away from the stream, but if you let me back in 2 minutes when I'm back. All right, fella?
Oh.
Right, see you in a minute.
Okay, so the second set has started. Fortunately, let's say that, or unfortunately, I don't know, but talking just about if that episode with Vukic racket made the result look different. Well, not, because Fritz in the end won the first set anyway. So fortunately, you know, there's not going to be any kind of discussion about that, at least in terms of it was an important moment of the match, but for sure, you know, it's an important question. I I just think we need to make okay look like an Italian woman. And yeah, so let's see what happens. Very tight first set. I think no real surprise that it went to a tiebreak. There's been very few chances on return, as it was more or less expected, considering the players involved, which are players with actually good ground strokes, but still it becomes very, very difficult in these kind of conditions. Of course, Fritz would like at this point, probably, especially at this time of the day, to close it out in 2. But let's see. Vukic, meanwhile, just held, and so he wins the first game of the second set. Talking about the draw, we looked on Fritz's draw, and I was just having a look at Vukic. He is a potential second round opponent for Alcaraz, and in and in the first round is going to bye Ghostia. Thanks to having stayed here as well as you could. Thank you. See you soon. And yeah, but he's going to face Offner, which is a finalist in Mallorca this week also. So both guys coming into Wimbledon with good runs, let's say. And yeah, Vukic wins the first point of this second game.
That's me back, Mario. So just just to relieve you from the pressure. And I don't worry, I will not steal Ghost's kiss that he has dropped you. He's warned me off that kiss, so you can have Ghost kiss.
I'm delighted.
So, just having a quick look at the match stats. Taylor Fritz has won 96% of his first serve points so far, as you can see there on the screen. As I said to you, it's a weapon. It is a weapon for Taylor Fritz, and he just needs to be consistent with it. Sometimes it can go through stages in matches where it does abandon him, that serve. But if he can just keep it going for the longer matches, I think he can have a bit of a run. I'd like to see him in the quarterfinals at least, because I do like Taylor Fritz. So did I hear somebody earlier on from the Tommy Paul train that Tommy Paul's carrying a bit of an injury, or was that just a joke? I only saw it.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke because of that. The real fake TV clip we've seen that went viral. They have deleted it actually, but 12 million people have seen it on Twitter. Okay, and yeah, I mean, it's possible. As I said, I feel like that third quarter of the Wimbledon draw can go, in a bit anyone's direction. And
you know what? I'm going to pull up this Wimbledon draw because I feel as if I'm leaving all the work on to yourself, your good self, and you're doing a cracking job, Mario. But I feel like instead of me just asking you to tell me about the draw, I should really pull it up. So there we go. Draw Wimbledon. Do you want to move on to the ladies singles, or you want to stick with the gents?
No, we can move to the ladies, of course. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say because on the men's side, because we know very well, in my opinion, who are the most vulnerable players and who should be the favorite. And then, of course, we will see if some surprise happens. But probably the women's side, it's a bit more open on grass, I mean, because there are some top players which are very consistent on the women's side. But probably Wimbledon feels like the slam of the four where it's more possible to see some kind of surprises, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we all know what you're kind of referring to in terms of not being as open, and that is Iga's, history, form, ability in terms of the damage that she can do on grass. So she's a lot more vulnerable on the grass than she is probably certainly at the French and on the hard court. So
and it's also not easy to bounce back after winning the French Open. This is also not an easy thing to do. So maybe it feels like if you have one chance to try to beat her, probably this is the best one. I don't know. but she's an amazing player, so I won't be surprised at all, of course, if she goes on to a very deep run at Wimbledon, of course.
Yeah. And
we were talking about, I want to see your opinion about this. I want to hear.
About what? Sorry.
We were talking about whether will you be surprised if Iga wins Wimbledon, and me and Nick on the stream were like, no, actually, even if we know that she's not maybe as strong as in the French. And John was a bit more like, probably I would be a little bit surprised.
Okay, good question. I think in terms of, she's clearly head and shoulders above, like the ability-wise. She's the best player in the world right now. She streaks ahead in terms of the 1 and 2 position now. She's dominated on the clay, which is her favourite surface. And even though when she's been coming up against Sabalenka, she's managed to win those big points and win the big matches. I think the playing field is levelled a little bit. I said it about Taylor Fritz and Vukic at the start of this match. The grass can be a leveller sometimes. But would I be surprised? Yeah, I probably would. I think I wouldn't be surprised that if she I tell you what, I'll tell you how to answer this. Sorry, I know I'm making a meal of this. If she was to get to a semi-final, I wouldn't be surprised if she won it. But I think she's got a hard draw. And so I think, oh no, my screen's going. So I think what laughing at? Don't know where my draw is going.
Okay, so he'll be back in.
There we go. We're back. I don't know what's happening there.
Okay.
Okay, to answer simply, please don't go away again. I don't know why my camera's doing this, but I will say, yes, I would be surprised if she comes through at the end of it and is the champion, just because of her struggles on grass before. But she's got that winner's mentality. If she can get over a very, very kind of tough draw, Kenin at the start, Kenin famously beating Coco Gauff this time last year in the first round. So I think if she can get to that semi-final, I think if she's one of the 4 players in the semi-final, I think she's going to be the clear favourite because she knows how to handle the pressure. She knows how to handle these big matches. She's done it, 4 or 5 times already before. But she's got a lot of kind of hurdles in the way, and there is banana skins in there. So I don't think this draw has helped her in terms of that question. Would you be surprised? So I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to caveat it with, though, if she is one of the final 4, I would say that she is by clear numbers the favourite for that. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, Mario?
For sure, it makes sense. I have probably a slightly different.
I can't hear you now. Why can't I hear you?
Can you hear me now? No.
Oh no, we're having problems.
But is it me? I don't know. People in the chat. People in the chat, please. Can you hear me? If anyone can just reply. Okay, we can hear. Okay. Thank you. So it's not my issue. Okay, no, I will save this for when Tom is back. I have just a little bit of different opinion. For example, I agree with Matthew with this. Will Ostapenko make it to the Iga match? I don't know, and this is probably. Can you hear me now? I think he still can't hear me.
I'm back.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like that. That of course it makes sense. No, he's not bad. Okay. But her draw is a bit difficult for me to predict how it will look like, because potentially it can be very difficult, but also there are a lot of players who you don't really know if they're really gonna be there. For example, Ostapenko is not in amazing form. Actually, I wouldn't
tell me about that Ostapenko Tomjanovic match. I'm going to be sitting with that one with the popcorn on it, because they've got a history at Wimbledon, don't they? So and Tomjanovic obviously in a bit of form as she returns to the winner's circle a little bit, So I think Tomjanovic wins that, and there's going to be a bit of niggle with that one as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's difficult to realize if her draw is difficult or not. It can be potentially very difficult if all these dangerous players make it to the round where they can face Iga, but there's also a very high chance that they don't make it. And then I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins, actually, honestly. But if it makes, for example, if she makes it to the semifinal, it depends. I mean, for example, for me, players like Sabalenka and Rybakina on grass can have a chance to beat her if they happen to meet each other in a semifinal, for example, or in a final, because they are, of course, amazing players, and probably grass can help them a little bit in their matchups. So I don't know. I feel like with Iga, it's a matter of looking a bit round by round, which match she has to have, and to which opponent she's going to face. But overall, she can play tennis so well. She's such an amazing champion that even if she hasn't been in the semis yet, for example, at Wimbledon, still I would feel a bit like not to be really surprised if she does very, very good things at Wimbledon also. So I don't know. She's like one of these players that she will never really surprise me.
Yeah, and what about I don't hear many people mentioning the defending champion Vondrousova. I mean, this time last year nobody would have picked her, so I just wondered, are you giving her any hope at all? Anything that of repeating last year's heroics?
It depends. It will be very difficult. This is a thing I'll be a bit surprised, if I have to be honest. But then once again, first couple of rounds, she should be fine. And if she plays okay, actually, even in the third round, she should be fine, looking at the potential opponents, because Krejcikova, Kudermetova are not playing really, really well lately. So, she has actually a good draw, talking about the first few rounds. So I'm pretty confident that she can make it to the second week again. But then it becomes a bit difficult to really predict what she is going to do, because a lot of things can happen. But yeah, if I have to answer to the question, is the defending champion on an early upset alert? Probably not. Looking at the draw, I would be a bit surprised if she loses very early, because of the potential opponents that she got. If she's fine physically, and she seems fine physically, it seems like the Berlin injury was just a scare and not. I think she can be in the second week again.
Okay, nice. Let me throw a name out to you, Bianca Andreescu. She coming back again, another player maybe returning to the fold. Played pretty decent in the last few weeks, and I just wondered, she's I mean, can she do anything in this, I suppose, is my question. I mean, she's playing Jacqueline Kashian. So I just wondered what your thoughts are.
Andreescu is playing quite well, but Dortmund hasn't really gone well. But overall, her comeback from the injury has been at a pretty high level. It's very, very encouraging signs for her, actually. I'm just looking at the draw, and it's not that bad, actually. As an unseeded player, of course, she could have been a worse section of the draw, so it's not that bad. She can do well. I think that what we saw it's good enough to think that she can still be a factor. Of course, it's not going to be easy, because when you come back, there can be some ups and downs, of course, and we also have to see how her body will react to keep playing, because we know that unfortunately after 2019 she's been really dealing with so many physical issues and injuries. So it's also difficult to predict with that aspect being a question mark. But yeah, overall, I would say that what we saw is encouraging. That's what I think.
And another name I'm going to throw at you is Emma Raducanu. Again,
difficult first round.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. So you think this isn't her year then?
It's an interesting draw, actually, because it's a difficult first round, but it looks like if she manages to win this first round, then a chance can open
up
in front of her, because her section has, I don't know, Mertens is very solid actually as a player, but I don't know, feels beatable, and Sakari feels beatable lately. And so probably Alexandrova is actually the toughest player of that section. And it's the first round. And so it's a bit, interesting as a draw, because you have a very tough first round, because Alexandrova, and especially on grass, she plays very, very well. And so probably Raducanu, I would even say that starts this match as slight underdog, probably. But if she wins this match, then an opportunity opens up. That's right. So I don't know if I have to say that it's bad of a good draw. Overall, I wouldn't say bad draw, actually, because I know that the first match is very tough, but, not having players like, Iga or Sabalenka or Rybakina in the round 2 or 3 projection, for me, it's a big win, actually.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is winning Wimbledon on the ladies' side then? Surely you've had this thought, Mario, this week.
Oh, for sure. I also made the power ranking, actually. But I'm probably going to... I need to put the romantic side of me to shut up a little bit, because I would love to say that, kind of Jabeur is playing better and better and deserves it, even if it feels a bit difficult. I'm probably picking Sabalenka, even if she faced a couple of physical troubles. I don't know. Probably I would pick her to... if I have to make a choice today, watching the draw and everything, I'd probably be going with her.
And who's again? I'm sorry for firing all these questions at Mario, but I love hearing you break down what you think about the game. Who's she beating in the final then?
I think we may see Iga reaching her first Wimbledon final.
Okay, lovely, nice one.
I'm probably leaning towards this prediction right now. I'm not really making the bracket match by match. So probably my prediction can change, I don't know, tomorrow in the morning when I will make my bracket. And so I will think a bit more about match by match. But just looking at the draw right now, making a prediction, I would probably have this one. Probably I'd say that Arena has her revenge after a couple of clay losses against Iga in the final, probably. Let's say like this.
Okay, so I just done the...
Of course, it's not one to underestimate, as Matthew says, and I want to give a shout out to Jessica Pegula, even if she lost this week against Raducanu. But I am watching her coming back from the injury pretty quickly, so let's see, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. Just while we were chatting all things ladies' side of the draw, Taylor Fritz did manage to scrape in a break point, which was quickly snuffed out by the Vukic serve. So I think we're now up to 2 break points in the match so far. The stats will tell us this. Yeah, 2 break points so far. Both of them on the Vukic serve. Both of them saved. I'm fairly certain the first one was saved with a big clutch serve as well. But Taylor Fritz is trying to get this one over the line. I think you predicted it was going to be two tight sets. I said this might go to 3. But there's not much daylight between the two. It's just, a slogfest.
Yeah, in the end, it feels like both prediction can really happen because, it's just very tight, and then it's a bit of a matter, as we mentioned, for example, in the tiebreak, to play better a couple of rallies. And yeah.
Hey, Ashley, how are we doing? Good day, everyone. Ashley is saying hello. Good to see you here and for you to join the conversation. We've just been talking ladies' side of the draw as well as watching this Fritz Vukic semi-final. But Ashley, if you've got anything to add in terms of maybe a ladies' winner, maybe a potential final, what do you think? We have said that Iga might actually reach a final. We have shut down any talk of Raducanu. We have said Sabalenka. I think Mario's going to pick for. Good breakdown of it. Is there any other match or anything that's standing out from you in terms of the first few days?
I mean, for me, a very interesting question. Sorry, I read a word and a very interesting side of the draw. For me, it's that part where we have both Jabeur and Pegula. There's also Bolter. There's a very solid grass player like Niemeyer. There's, it feels it can be an interesting part of the draw because both Jabeur and Pegula are these players who maybe you will not put them in the top 2-3 contenders, but they all have their own case to to push themselves and to be very dangerous players to face. So I'll be very interesting. It's a potential round 4 match, this one between Jabeur and Pegula, and this is a section which I will be very, very interesting to see how it develops, because these are two players who feel very dangerous, and so I don't know also if there's going to be anybody who can surprise them. For example, if Katie Bolter is going to pull off a good Wimbledon campaign. And yeah, so I would say that this section can be very interesting.
Yeah, pretty much like the one we were talking about in the first half in terms of the Taylor Fritz side of the draw. A lot of interesting seeds in there, a lot of good matchups, I think. So I think what your point is, it's the same in that side of the draw for the ladies. Again, Taylor Fritz is battling away here, but Vukic is showing some decent defence and turning rallies around. Just on a juice point before, Taylor Fritz was well on the attack, well on top of the rally, but Vukic managed to flip it around, and Taylor made an unforced error wide. So Vukic does now have game point on his serve. We're at 3-all. This is to take a 4-3 advantage. And but yeah, Taylor Fritz starting to ask a couple of questions. I think he just wants this one done, get out of the Birmingham sunshine, into his bed, and try and get this final taken care of tomorrow.
If I have just to end this, the question you made, if I have to really say a round 1 match, I would probably say Osaka against Paris. Feels a match which can be interesting because, just to see, of course, Osaka back at Wimbledon, and Paris is a player who can do well on grass and can also trouble, in my opinion, Osaka a bit with her variety. And so I think it can be an interesting clash if I have to choose one.
Okay, so that's the one for anyone who was unsure what to watch over the first few days of Wimbledon that starts very, very shortly. Then, pick up Mario's tip there, Osaka versus Paris. Nurlin, how are we doing? Let us know your thoughts. And if you haven't, and if you're in this stream right now, as Mario and I take you through Fritz and Vukic, we've also been dissecting the Wimbledon draws on both the men's and the ladies' side. But make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Help this channel grow. The more it grows, the more content we can bring you. We do have guys always at the tennis events these days. I think John was at Mallorca, wasn't he? You were where last week, were you, Mario?
I've been in Berlin, then I flew back also from Mallorca and back to Italy. I've traveled a lot.
Wow. So there you go. We've got reporters, correspondents, tennis geeks all over the place, looking to bring you as much tennis content as they can. So yeah, Nolan's asking Matthew, I believe he's asking him about Raducanu. We were just talking about Raducanu. Mario was saying that tough first round tie, but the draw does open up for her if she can get through that tricky tie. And so yeah, I wonder if she can do something. Of course, a couple of years ago is when she really kind of burst on the scene. A few years ago now, 3 years ago I think it was now, where she really burst on the scene, and then it was just, what we didn't know then what we know now, in terms of it was just a couple of months before she won that US Open. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much she takes to the. She didn't play last year, of course, did she? Because she was injured. And then the year prior, I think she went out in the first round, if I remember correctly. So, or maybe it's the second round. I don't know.
It was the second. It was the second.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see, fully fit, if she is fully fit, looking fully fit anyway, Raducanu. And hopefully taken to the centre court crowd and using that to kind of push her on and try and get a couple of wins in the event. So, yeah. What's happening in the tennis then, Mario? Where are we at with this match? Still not many fireworks other than the double hit and the seagulls.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that the quality hasn't been good, because it would be wrong to say, actually. It's not been a bad match quality wise, but probably we haven't had really, I don't know, some highlight things, or it just carried. I mean, we had some drama in the previous game where Vukic really saved himself, because being a set and a breakdown actually would have been pretty important, especially considering how the match is going. But yeah, overall, it's not a bad match for sure. It's, I like to say this expression, it's not really my cup of tea, to talking a bit, how I enjoy the tennis. I'm not a big fan of this very, very fast-paced clashes, actually. I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting match. I give you that. As I said to you, both very similar styles, decent with the ground strokes, don't come into the net a lot, these guys. Decent serve, so a lot of 3 points on the serves. A lot of the games have been won.
You're right. You mentioned a good thing. We have, in a way, we have the very good serves, making a lot of the job. But actually, not even when the rally starts, then you see really things getting, I don't know, that you make stick you to the television or to your stream, or because also how the baseline rallies play out in this matchup, probably it's not really the most exciting, at least today.
Well, I think both players they're being quite, reserved, conservative is probably the word. Like, they're not taking many risks, not taking many chances. There's no, big ass winners hit. Although, just saying that, Taylor Fritz has just put away a backhand winner down the line, and so he has love 15 on the Vukic serve at 4-all. This could be the move that he was threatening in the last couple of games. So the last few times, Vukic has pulled out the big serves. Maybe he will start to take a couple more chances with his ground strokes, and that's a big ground stroke. But Fritz gets it back in. It looks almost as if he stopped playing, and Vukic manages to get it back. Decent point there by the Aussie. What is Ashley saying? Nilin and Matthew. What do you think of the draw? I haven't got much to look at it.
We have a very difficult question.
We do.
Do you think she belongs to top 20? They're asking each other. I mean, for me, yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
I know that she's not probably, the most consistent player on tour, and she also had a lot of troubles, physical troubles, heavy injuries, and also a couple of things, not really clear, probably also with her coaching team, a bit of tries that really didn't go well. But in the end, yes, she's been able to win a Grand Slam, regarding of who she faced, but to be able to do that. And we also see that she's a dangerous player every time actually she steps on court, regardless of how many big wins and runs she got. So why not? She just needs to be probably a bit more consistent physically also.
Okay, chance here for Taylor Fritz. Yeah. 2 break points. There was a double fault by Vukic. Last few times he's had a break point, oh my word! Even Taylor Fritz cannot believe that. Mid-sentence, I was saying that Vukic has pulled out a big serve every time he's faced a break point so far. He did so again, but Taylor Fritz got the ball back over the net to his feet as he rushed the net, Vukic. And he somehow pulled out the volley of all volleys. I mean, if that was a Federer or a Djokovic or a Nadal, we'd all be absolutely crying over that one. That was unreal.
Yeah, it was fantastic. You're right. It was also
Taylor had a second serve this time on the break point.
Yeah, this time was a chance.
And he just mistimed it. He went for the winner. He just mistimed it. And so he'll be frustrated. I think that double hit is still playing in his mind. I can just tell. This time, is it just me? Sometimes Taylor Fritz doesn't believe that he's going to get the ball back in. That's a couple of times now where he's managed to get the rushing forehand, and then it looks as if he just stopped and it left the whole court open for Vukic to put away the winner. Maybe
probably it is a bit of trouble changing direction on the grass.
Yeah,
not as
maybe a bit slippy.
It does, not as quick as it does on the hard courts. This one was very slow, actually, if I have to be honest. But yeah, he can play very well, of course, but probably on this surface, he is not really comfortable to move the way he does on other kind of courts.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed it a couple of points ago, I think, when he was at Love 15, and it was almost as if he was shocked that the ball had actually got over the net and into court. I think you're right. I think he's probably not just stopping the point, but it just seemed like he was a bit slow to make that reverse movement back into the court. And actually, it wasn't even that great a shot by Vukic on that occasion. It was just a shot that managed to bounce twice before it even got to Taylor. But the players are rallying now. Again, Taylor Fritz wearing black and grey shorts, and Vukic in all white. And Vukic goes, I told you, not many chances at a risk have been taken. Vukic has obviously heard me, tried to go for a big winner there on the forehand, up the line, gets it all wrong, and we're on to deuce. Obviously, this will be a massive game because Taylor Fritz would then be serving for the match.
Yeah, for sure, for both actually, because Fritz right now is starting having actually some opportunities because it's the second return game in a row that he manages, to push his opponent to the advantages and to have some break points. And so, I mean, the first two he had in this set were really well saved by Vukic. On the next one.
Sorry, I get so animated, Mario. I am listening to you, but that was a good rally. Taylor Fritz tried the drop shot. Vukic managed to show some decent pace to get up to it.
It feels like the matching is, is improving now that things start getting a bit tighter, also score-wise, because of course we are in a very, very important moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Vukic again tried the big clutch serving down the tee, went a tad long with it, so he's got a second serve. Taylor Fritz got it all wrong the last time he had this opportunity on the second serve. He's back in court this time. He's on the stretch though, because Vukic put a good one and he's put one up the line. Taylor Fritz managed to retrieve it. Vukic has put it into the other side of the court. Taylor Fritz all over the court. He's got that one back as well, but Vukic puts away a little chip volley in the end. Decent point there by Vukic. He had Taylor Fritz on the run.
Yeah, it's getting very, very, very tight. Actually, probably this is
a much better match now.
Yeah, for sure. We are getting, that entertainment stuff that we wanted since the beginning. But
I mean, if this goes to a tiebreak or anything close to that, though, Taylor Fritz will be frustrated because I'm sure it's the last maybe 2 or 3 Vukic service games where he has managed to get himself a break point. And as you can see by the stats here, Vukic has saved 100% of his break points faced, 5 out of 5 at the moment.
I mean, I don't know if already in a tiebreak, but if then he drops the second set and then probably in a third one, it will start to become a bit difficult to erase, whole.
Yeah, well, my point is he seems to be in pretty much good control of this match. He's the one that's making the moves. Vukic is pretty much slogging out each service game, making absolutely no inroads on the Fritz service game. I think from this position at the moment, Taylor Fritz, if he went into a third set, would be sitting there going, how am I in a third set right now? Hello, Sport and Politics.
Carlos,
I've not even seen Carlos's draw. I'm going to go and look at Carlos's draw. Why have I not seen Carlos's
draw? For me, it's simply hard to imagine actually both not reaching the semifinal, both Yannick and Carlos, despite Yannick having kind of a tough road. But for me, yeah, I really agree with Matthew when he says, when I think at fast courts, I feel like, Sinner, nobody's better than him on a fast court. And so I struggle to put on him the upset alert, even if he gets a tricky match, like, for example, the Berrettini one.
Yeah, it's a decent draw, isn't it? Another Tiafoe. Tiafoe's in absolutely zero form.
Yeah, for Alcaraz, it's a good draw, actually.
Yeah.
He also has, the toughest potential opponent feels like Tommy Paul in that quarter of the draw.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at it now. Yeah, there's not really any, not even in the fourth round, absolutely nobody who would really cause him any problems. Casper Ruud's not going to be there in the quarterfinal, so I don't know why that's even listed. Yeah, you're right, Tommy Paul, and that'll probably will be the quarterfinal. I can't see that not being the quarterfinal.
Casper, I was actually jingling a little bit looking at the draw, because he has never been in the round 3 at Wimbledon, and we know that grass isn't really his thing. He will have tough tests, but it will be interesting. The fact that he really doesn't like the grass made me watch his Wimbledon matches with some of interest, being like, let's see how he's going to approach this, how he's going to play. For example, Bolt, his first round match Bolt is a guy who has a lot of experience on the grass, and I'm just going to be interested in, as more or less every year, I don't know why, but he drives me interested, because I'm like, let's see how he's going to play, how he's going to face this challenge.
I know exactly what you mean, though, because I think sometimes we go, is he really wanting to win this? Now, maybe every year we watch it, maybe hope maybe he's had a year to think about it. Maybe he's had better advice to say, take this seriously. And so I know exactly what you mean. It's like, it's something that you can't take your eyes off of. I mean, I watched the Liam Brody match that he had last year, and that final set, he pretty much chucked it. I mean, I don't want to accuse that of players, but he downed tools. And even when he get beat, he was just like, it seemed as if he was relieved in a way that he'd lost the match. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one. As Taylor Fritz wins his game there to make 5.
I really would love to talk with him, about the grass, because I would love also to understand if there are some, I don't know, let's imagine that he's a bit, I don't know, scared movement. I don't want to say scared in the literal way, but maybe, doesn't feel like moving well, because I don't know, he feels like slippery on it. He has some issues from that point of view. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm really, interesting. I mean, this year it makes a bit of sense after a deep French Open run to not really play grass if you care about the Olympics. There's just no rest for the players, so you gotta make a couple of choices. But he's not, for him it's not a thing of just this year. So I'm really interested to talk about him a little bit, about the grass, if I ever had this chance in the future, because I'm really interested to understand what, because it should be something more than just I don't enjoy it,
Yeah. No, I get what you mean, mate. I get what you mean.
Then again, maybe also the fact that it's just 1 month of the year, you're not really pushed, if you don't enjoy it, to really, it's not like the hard courts especially, but also the clay courts. Imagine someone like Medvedev just not going to play clay, and it's not possible because there are many, there are 3 masters other than the French Open, so it's difficult to not play. But yeah, the score, I think if you click on summary.
Oh, myself?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Probably people can have a better way of to see.
And you've let me sit for all that time, Mario, when you knew that button was there.
Oh, sorry. I was sure you knew it, but you wanted to see the stats for a reason. And so it was like, hey, it's fair for me, and
no,
okay.
my bad, guys. My bad. I'll take the hit on that one. That was my bad.
But what we were talking about?
Casper Ruud still on the grass, maybe?
We haven't answered to this question earlier. I mean, my take is no, if I have to be honest. I don't really like it, because there's not a real way to make it really fair, because in the end, there is the ranking and there is...
I think if you started doing the rankings dependent on surface, then you would get people doing the kind of clay side of things, and it just takes over. It's surface dependent rather than form dependent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. In the end, I would say that I don't think it's a tragedy to have this question mark around the draws depending on some players. I mean, it's okay. I don't know. I get why some people push for this, because they say, we have very few grass during the year. It's not like the other 2 surfaces, where you more or less you have a balanced draw, because you have plenty of tournaments on both surfaces to play. On grass, you'd not really have this, but still, I don't know. I didn't really like the previous. It was very difficult also for the fans to understand it. Maybe the fans who are not very hardcore about the sport were like, why this guy is I don't know, Djokovic was 21st in the world in 2018, but got the 12th seed at Wimbledon through that system. And I can get why also some people can be like, what's happening here? And so I don't know. In the end, I feel like this is the easiest way. And in the end, I don't feel like in these couple of years we had the normal system. We have regretted it. In the end, it's been okay anyway. I don't know if you agree.
No, I couldn't disagree. Is probably a better response, because, yeah, I mean, I suppose you're just looking at the ladies' side of things, and you're going, right, Vondrousova, she won it last year, now she's number 6 seed, and you're just thinking, right, Is that right? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, because I don't think even though she won it last year, I don't think anyone's actually particularly thinking that she's going to win it again this year. So it just shuffles the whole pack a little bit, doesn't it? And you know, some players might, you know, I don't know, but some players might be going, this isn't fair. I've worked hard all year, and this. So yeah, I'd go with just kind of keeping it to the ranking.
Because let's imagine Casper, for example, is seed number 8, but even when he was seed number 3, let's imagine this. How down could have he been? You know, number 7, number 6. He still would have got a very high seed because
he just got to the French Open final. Yeah.
So in the end, I don't know. It's not like it makes for me a very, very, very big difference. So yeah, I think I can stay with this, actually. You know, I haven't really felt these couple of years being like, oh, I wish we can go back to that. For me, it's more or less, you know. So
just take us quickly back to this, and then we can get Ashley. But Taylor Fritz under a little bit of pressure. Probably Vukic playing his best spell in the match so far. Because he's on to 30 all in the Taylor Fritz serve. Now, I don't know about you, Mario, but I can't remember when he had that. Well, he was this close to actually getting a break point. You know what I mean? So
in this second set, for sure, he hasn't. And in the first one, in the first one, he's been 15-30 up. But
and he has a break point.
Exactly. Right now, for sure, it's the biggest because it's the first break point and also, most importantly, a set point. So
I imagine Taylor Fritz is going to try and absolutely cream this serve. Doesn't want a rally because he knows that Vukic is playing his best tennis off the match so far. And he does it exactly that, down the tee, straight into the net by Vukic. A cry of despair from the Aussie. But yeah, Taylor Fritz knew that he couldn't leave this chance. As I said to you, third set, and things get a bit skatey for the American, a bit kind of, will I win this match?
Yeah, talking about answering to Ashley, what's Casper ranking? It's 8. Nobody withdrew from the top 10 players, so every seed is the same as the ranking for the players. So
tell you what shocked me, and this is probably because I've been on holiday. I haven't been around tennis for a good month or so, but Holger Rune at seed 15. I noticed that earlier on. I thought that was a shock. I just didn't know it kind of dropped that much.
Yeah, he's 15th in the ranking, and actually things are not better in the race because in the 2024 race he's at number 16. He's being a lot of ups and downs actually this year. Played a couple of very good matches. I remember one against Fritz at Indian Wells where he reached the quarterfinals, but overall he's been very inconsistent, and especially during the match he's been very inconsistent. A lot of matches where he has started pretty well and then his level dropped a lot and a couple of comebacks suffered. So yeah, he's in a bit of, let's say, an up and down moment. He will for sure improve, but yeah, right now it feels like he still needs a bit of time to settle and to adjust a couple of things to then try to push back towards the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was quarterfinal against Carlitos last year.
Last year, yeah, yes.
Okay, so I mean, it's not like you know, sometimes we forget these guys are actually half decent at tennis. You know what I mean? And they can play on different surfaces, and sometimes because the grass season's so short and it's not really repeated. I mean, I know there are other grass tournaments, but you know, in terms of major events, so I think sometimes we come into this and go, Holger Rune, he can't play in grass, and then you go, well, he actually got to the quarterfinals last year. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, there was that famous match. I don't know if you remember, but I'm pretty sure yes, against Davidovic Fokina.
Yes, yes,
Very
and the
1-1.
underarm serve,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's difficult to analyze things with him because yeah, for example, the French Open, he lost in 5 against Zverev. And that was a good performance because but it was a good performance also against Koboli in the 3rd round. But it was like he was up 2 sets up, and then Koboli comes back and forces a decider, and they go to the distance, and he's suddenly deep down in the 5th set tie. So I mean, he needs to sort it out things a little bit more, also in order to arrive fresher to the matches that count, because even against Zverev at the French Open, the level was quite there technically, but Zverev in the end was the fresher player, and this made a lot of the difference, and so he needs to to adjust a couple of things, and that's for sure. Yeah, you see, I know why you made it. That's the sound, because of the bad mistake from Vukic when he was serving.
Just while you've been talking there, so Taylor Fritz has the mini break, but a funny old point there. Like Vukic had about 3 chances just to absolutely melt the ball and put it away, and just kind of kept seeming to try and give Taylor a chance, but he has managed to win the last point, so it is 3-2 Fritz with the ball in hand for the next 2. So Fritz in control here, won the first set via this type of score 7-6, potentially on his way to doing so again. I think, did you not call it as 2 tie breaks, Mario?
I said actually 2 close sets. I didn't know it.
You didn't think it was going to be this close?
Is a bit more. I mean, in the end, it could also not have been 2 tie breaks, because there have been, especially in the second set, both players had their chances to close it before. Especially Fritz, I would say, even if Vukic had that set point, but Fritz probably feels like he had that second serve. He could have played better a couple of break points. But yeah, right now he has a mini break to handle. Let's see if he will manage to do it.
Absolutely. So Taylor Fritz 4-2 in front. Another serve to come. If he can take this one with a big serve, then that's a healthy lead, and surely he will see this out. If he can get at least 1 mini break from the Vukic serve, then we could be well on our way.
Because I'm pretty sure you can tell me better, being closer, about the sunlight. Do you think they would be able to play a wall 3rd set after this if Vukic manages to win this tiebreak somehow?
Good question, because I was thinking about this earlier when we were coming on tonight, coming up to 7 o'clock, and I was thinking, they better not go for a long one. No, I don't think. I mean, I think they'll continue to play. I don't think they'll call it because I think they'll try and get it done at every chance. But right now we're getting dark about from about an hour from now. Like, I mean, it's gloomy here, but this is Scotland, so it's always very gloomy. Down in Birmingham, where the players are, which is quite a bit south than me, they get the good weather, and Taylor Fritz does get that next mini break. So he has the ball in hand, 5-3, puts away with a winner. And I think for the avoidance of me mumbling that answer there, Mario and the organisers, I think they'll all be wanting Taylor Fritz to see out these next couple of points. Still on the Vukic serve, my mistake. It's still on the Vukic serve. They don't have floodlights in Birmingham, as far as I'm aware. Taylor Fritz steps right up to the Vukic second serve. Does a block return back. The players are rallying now. Backhand to the Vukic forehand, who goes for a winner down the line, and Fritz hits the net. So fist pump from Vukic. He still thinks he's got a chance.
Yeah, let's say that basically Fritz serves for the match, but of course he needs to win both points.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how that's worked out, because I thought Fritz was already a mini break up, unless Vukic has won a mini break back there. I don't know. I thought it was 2 mini breaks to. He did 4-3. Right, never mind. Don't just ignore me.
Yeah, it had been 3-3. Two for Fritz and one for Vukic.
This set, almost an hour long now. They're on the 59-minute mark. Taylor Fritz second serve. Good return by Vukic, and Taylor Fritz. Oh no, it didn't go long. I thought that was dropping long. And Taylor Fritz goes for the same backhand winner as he went a minute ago. Vukic gets his racket to the ball, but it was just too powerful from the American.
So we have the match points. The first with his serve.
Yeah, guys, just a reminder, anyone who hasn't liked and subscribed just yet, get going. Taylor Fritz takes the match with an unreturnable. Yeah. Taylor Fritz 7-6, 7-6. The first set, 50 minutes long. Second set, 1 hour long. Not the greatest tennis match that you're ever going to watch by any means. But
no, but the end was cool. The end of the match was cool, actually. Probably the tiebreak was not as good as the last games we saw before coming to that tiebreak. But yeah, overall, it's been probably the second set. It's been more enjoyable than the first one, I would say. But Fritz always plays very well in Eastbourne. Third final in Eastbourne after 2019 and 2022. Yeah, for sure, Fritz on grass, for sure, because if he managed to beat Nadal in that quarterfinal, for sure he would have had his chances against Kyrgios. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Fritz in a final. He will face Purcell. I think just to say something about tomorrow's match, do you think Fritz comes in as a favorite? I think yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's, like John says, he knows his way around the grass. I think he's the reason why he's in the UK is to try and get used to these UK conditions. You know, we talked about a slippery court a minute ago in terms of him changing direction. I think he's getting better. I think that was a solid. It was a grind at times. That it was a slog, but I think he's starting to get around the grass. And I watched Max Purcell. You know, I know that he's a decent, consistent player, but I just think Fritz will have too much. And I flagged it early doors. Fritz, the serve, you know, at one point, I don't know how it ended, I'll double check, but at one point, you know, he was winning. Yeah, I mean, he ends up with 96% of his first serves.
Yeah,
15 aces.
2 points lost.
Yeah, 15 aces to one double fault. I mean, that serve is going to cause any player damage at Wimbledon. And so, yeah, if he brings that serve and prowess, then I can't see how Max Purcell makes much problem for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would say that it's more or less the same thing of today's match. You know, it's a match where Fritz is the favorite, but can still, of course, be close if, you know, the opponent brings on a good level. And so we'll see. I think it can be an enjoyable final, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, are you happy to say goodbye and good night and Auf Wiedersehen?
Yeah, goodbye to to everybody. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, of course. And yeah, a lot of content is coming for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we will. Our paths will cross during the Wimbledon fortnight, Mario. But as always, it's been a pleasure, and you have a good rest of your Friday evening. Okay,
yeah,
buddy?
it's been a pleasure for me.
See ya.
See you. Bye-bye.